Hey everybody, welcome back to Living LA. My name's Zach. I'm a local real estate agent here in the city of Los Angeles, and today I'm here again with my partner Britt, and we're going to be talking about closing lessons for some of the homes that we've closed this summer. So it was a busy summer for us. Sorry for the lack of videos that we've put out, but busy summer means that we've got lots to talk to you about in this one. We're going to be talking about closing lessons specifically for sellers to consider. So things that we noticed and picked up on as we were closing out homes this summer that we want sellers to be thinking of as we move forward for the rest of 2024 and into 2025. So stay tuned for the lessons that you're going to learn in this video, and let's go check it out. So today we're going to be talking about two properties that we closed this summer, Camden 103 and St. Andrews 204. So first, can you give listeners just an idea of what those properties look like? How many bedrooms, maybe square footage if you remember off the top of your head? And then if there's anything that you would like to talk about that comes to the top of your mind for prep of those properties or anything like that, why don't you give us some information there too?
Yeah, and with Camden, that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet around there.
Cool.
Beautiful condo. Had such a wonderful time selling this one with you. Yeah, and with Scott as well. And for this one, I think staging really set the mark for this one. And we'll show you some before and after photos. And it absolutely, changed the feel of the home. And it is very, it was so quaint, a beautiful, gorgeous home, lots of upgrades that they did. But I think the staging really helped to hone in on the space, right? It was a guest room slash office, that workable space there. Also the living room, the floor plan was great and really awesome. For all of the buyers that came in, that was like the first thing that they saw, was that open space in the living room. So I think staging really made the difference there.
So let's talk about staging really quick. So for people who may not be familiar with that term, what is just a basic terminology or definition that we can give them for staging for a home?
So with staging, we have a wonderful vendor that works with us, Angelica and her team. They come in and they will give an assessment. They'll walk the home, and whether it's a virtual tour or in person, give us our feedback to us and the sellers of what areas should be staged for sure. And they'll go room by room, and they'll also provide feedback. If there's a certain color theme that we're looking for, certain items that would really stand out, and it could be a full stage or a partial stage, meaning and they will bring, if the home is vacant, like completely bare bones, vacant, they'll bring in everything for us, which is really nice. And sometimes they'll say, hey, we can partially stage some of the rooms, so it could be wall accents, it could be some florals, it could be carpets or rugs that might work well. And also like with the kitchen and bathrooms, that's two items and two areas that a lot of buyers really look for. So staging those areas would be really important as well.
Cool. So staging can basically be summed up as like providing additional furniture or like home decor in order to like spruce it up. Okay, so knowing then what staging is, what is for the seller the big benefit of having a staged home versus a buyer walking into an empty home? Why should a seller spend the however much it might cost, $2,000 to stage a home? Why spend that money when somebody could just walk into a vacant home and imagine where the couch would be and imagine, why use
That's a great question.
staging?
I feel like with the buying parties, when it's vacant, they have a really hard time picturing where things will go, seeing like space. And I think with staging, it really helps for them to understand the home and just see it very homey, and it feels homey. The energy feels great. Like I think versus walking into a home or a room, and I think a lot of sellers are like, oh, that's totally makes sense because they're like, oh, like the home is like completely bare versus, doing staging. And I would have to say there is virtual staging. So that is used at times with some of our clients. Most decide to go that route and really do their best for their listing. And at times we'll mix it up. And we could do a partial stage in one room, virtual stage in another, and stage the rest of the house. So there are options. Yeah, like I feel like, and it's all to the eye, and we are really speaking to the buying parties. And we want to make sure, like we are, wanting to make sure that all the buyers that saw Camden, also saw St. Andrews, can really see how it shines.
Yeah.
And when they were, as they came in and everyone was floored. Everyone was like, oh my God, it's so gorgeous. And that's what we want. That's what we want when they step into our homes that we represent and sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's two big things, maybe three big things, but for sure two big things for sellers to take away. Number one, for sellers, there's different levels of staging. Not every staging has to be a quote unquote full stage. There's virtual staging and partial stagings, and then there's full stagings and mixed stagings as well.
Yeah.
So first of all, stagings don't have to always be a full staging. Second of all, a seller is staging the home for the buyer. So you're staging the home for the buying parties that might be interested in purchasing a home, not for yourself. It has nothing to do with the seller. Right. Yeah. The seller is staging for the buyer. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I would have to say, one thing I didn't mention is that there's exterior and interior staging. So Angelica's team are amazing. They've done both to really take a outdoor patio space that is bare bones to then bringing all of their magic in to really transform the exterior of your home. So that's also something to consider as well. Like, hey, we have a lot of sellers that are like, hey, Britt, take a peek at our backyard. What do you think? And I think in the next segment, we'll talk about landscaping. I think that would be my second item and area where I really feel that if you do a little sprucing and bring in our team and our vendors, it really makes that difference.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's actually go ahead and we'll move into that. And let's talk, because I know you're specifically thinking of St. Andrews, number 204 for that one. So let's talk about St. Andrews. Really give us a little bit of the property specs first. What was the layout, bedroom count, etc. And then let's talk about landscaping, because it sounds like there's something really important that you have to say about that.
Yeah. So this one, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, a little under 1,200 square feet, around there. It was very well maintained. Sellers did a great job maintaining the property. They did a fresh set of paints before coming to market. One item that we did do that I felt like, hey, if we can make this happen right before coming to market, they took their fridge with them. They have a darling family, 3 girls, and them, made a move out to Monrovia. So they took all their appliances, but right in the very front entrance of the condo, you glance to this big open kitchen, is the fridge there. So I was like, before we come to market, if we can really, work it to bring in a used fridge, which was really gorgeous. Like, it was nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't a brand new one. Brought that in, got that, set up, and pretty much in my mind, it was like staging, but the next level.
Yeah.
Because we were creative about it.
Yeah, it's giving an appliance that can be used by a future party for staging
and I have
purposes.
to thank you for all the help in that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That was though really cool for me to see, because it was something that I hadn't ever considered as a staging item, like an appliance. An appliance is an appliance generally thought of, not as a staging item. But you were totally right with that big, large, gaping hole where the fridge would be.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference in the way that you see the unit.
And you can virtually stage that in, not a problem. Have our staff to just put a virtual fridge in there. But when you come in to preview the home, you set the expectation that a fridge is going to be there. So we don't want to, we were like, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So I think when you're in an HOA, at times prior to coming to listing or just right before, it's really important to kind of give an eye or check-in with the seller or the HOA to see what can we do to spruce up the front area where all the buying parties are going to be coming in. At times, in a smaller HOA, it's a little bit easier to make that happen. Sometimes in a large HOA with maybe 50 to 200 units, maybe not. But I would have to say for St. Andrews, we were able to get in there, put a little bit of floral, our own floral, floral sod, really tidy up that front area in combination with the seller and the HOA, which is great to team up and make it happen. And I think it's a benefit for all homeowners that live there. They were like, wow, this is great,
Yeah. So what exactly did our team do? That way they know kind of what the sprucing up looked like. What was the landscaping that we did that was super simple but made a huge difference?
Yeah, right in the front, there was like a little area, or maybe like 3 different areas with hedge, with a little bush. And we went in there, cleaned it up, made it really tidy and welcoming, because everyone for that specific entrance, we're walking right past this area for every showing. And so I was like, this definitely needs to be tidied, spruced, swept for every showing that we did.
And the other thing was that we added some red sod, which really like made the green pop. So it was very cool to see the difference in the pictures for this one, and I'll show you guys the pictures, right? But then imagine, and unfortunately we weren't able to grab a picture of the red sod final version, but when there were buying parties arriving, we did have red sod in these gardening plants and in the planters, and it really just made them pop. So that it was
very
a
presentable.
very presentable entry.
And it was probably like less than 100 to get the sod, and from us, our team, to go in there and do it. But that's what we do for clients, right? That's an extra step that we take for our clients, and it makes our job, like when we have an idea and we're like, this is really going to make the difference, and when it does, for both our sellers, for the buying party, it's a win-win.
Just like as we are kind of reflecting on business this summer, and specifically since we're talking about it, these 2 deals, and with consideration of where the market's moving most recently, as an update, there's been a recent drop in mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are hovering right around kind of that 6% mark right now. So there's been an increase in demand for homes from buyers, not necessarily an increase in the supply of homes from sellers. So just with all of those things in mind, what are some of the big lessons that we can take from the listings that we've done so far, and take those lessons and move forward with them into the rest of this year and next year in order to help sellers? What are some things that we might advise the sellers to keep top of mind?
I say in terms of general maintenance of your home, the more you maintain it, and we will roll out a maintenance checklist per month, per quarter, I think it makes the biggest difference, because over time, as you are staying there, and sometimes it's like, oh man, and we can give you the help, the nudge every month, like, hey, check these items. The homes that we've seen do the general maintenance over time, I feel like it's really helped. The small upgrades, and most of our sellers don't do a revamp when they move in all at one time. They go year by year, and they'll do a upgrade, each quarter. They'll pick one that feels great to them. But in that, also doing the general maintenance of the HVAC system, the flooring, the general cleaning of the home, all the plumbing, electrical, like those items, I feel during the home inspection process are
those come up a lot.
Definitely checked.
Yes, those come up a lot. Your basic
basic
home
things.
Yes, those come up a lot.
I think moving into the next couple years, if there's one item that I would say for sellers to just put on the checklist, we can help remind you to get them done. It'll make the bigger difference when it comes time to sell.
Yeah, I agree. And I think just the importance of bringing a presentable product to the market at this point is really important, right? Like, it's not where it was back in 2020 where things are just flying off the shelf, no matter how they look. Right? Nowadays, it's really only the nicest products that are going quickly and going for a high value. So, in addition to doing that monthly and quarterly maintenance, when you're ready to go to market, just doing small basic sprucing ups can add a
Ton
ton
of
of
value.
value to the product that you're bringing.
Yeah. And we can't wait to show you the before and afters on a current property that we're working with right now.
Yeah.
Coming to market, I would say within the next month. The attention to detail that our team has provided, and at times we have the opportunity to pace ourselves and not do everything all in 1 week or 2 weeks, but have a little bit more time to spend on the property. So when it comes to market, it's right there, exactly what you're talking about, where it shines, where it just is gonna move and present very well for our client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. Britt, anything else that you'd like to share with anybody, or anything else on your mind before we take off?
I don't think so.
All
I
right,
think that's
cool.
it.
Well, thanks so much for sticking around.
Thank you.
We enjoyed talking to you about these properties, and as she said, we're going to have more to talk to you about in the future. So come back for future episodes, and hope you enjoyed closing lessons. Thanks so much. Again, my name's Zach. This is Britt. We're local real estate agents here in Los Angeles. If you need any help or have any questions that we can answer, please do reach out to us. Our information is on the screen below. And other than that, we'll see you next time. Bye.